watching the flow, candles rise up, then they drop down low. Pips in his pocket, he's stacking it tall. Market structure trader, he's got it all. Open in range, it's the key to the game. Breakout moves, profits calling his name. Market structure leads the king. Trading waves, let the profits sing. Mean reversion, he's locked and loaded. Like the banks, his strategy's coded. Just don't lie, he reads every line. Forex indexes, he's making it shine. Positions held with precision and grace. He's in control, it's his trading space. Open in range, it's the start of the show. He's a pro, yeah, he's running the flow. Market structure leads the king. Trading waves, let the profits sing. Mean reversion, he's locked and loaded. Like the banks, his strategy's coded. He walks the charts like a shadow king. Candlesticks dance where the prophets sing. Pivots and breakouts, his gospel's clear. Mean reversion whispers what no one hears. Open in range, he strikes the key position right where the games will be. Market wizardry, every tech bend says decree. Forex waves obey the sea. Bow down to the market structure trader.
Good afternoon. How are we all doing? Happy Monday. I nearly said Friday then. How are we doing, everybody? I haven't got my chat window open. Hang on a minute. I haven't got a chat. I don't know who's there. I can't even type. Tube. 1 second. I'll just shut myself up. There we go. Right. Now I can see who's there. How are we all doing? Afternoon ladder road. So this afternoon, trading ORB, got some interesting findings from my friend, my AI friend who now lives in my VPS, who's been running strategy development all weekend for me. I've just tested one of the EAs that he's built for me. Have to say, blown away. This thing's got a 1.63 profit factor with 7% drawdown, generating 100 grand a year. And these are all the tests I've just done, system parameter permutation tests. All but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 from 225 tests are profitable. This is what you use AI for. So yeah, I'm going through that in the members stream, what I'm doing with AI at the moment. Incredible. So yeah, he's built 4 strategies for me now, 4, and they're all robust. They've all been system parameter permutation tested, walk forward tested, robustness tested, out of sample tested, in sample tested, and they all work. And he's also built the EAs for me so I can test them on completely different data that he's never seen because he's never used my computer and he's never used my broker. He doesn't know what broker. This is completely different broker data I've got as well to what he's testing on with his own Python engine that he built himself. And it works here as well. So yeah, we're all redundant, basically, aren't we? That's it. I'm redundant. I don't even need to trade anymore. He's doing it all for me. Mind blown. Anyway, so we're open. We've got a decent size candle on the NASDAQ, and Dow's not too bad. DAX this morning, where are we? I can't show it because I haven't got it. Let me just shut that back test a minute. DAX this morning, we looked at this in the live room this morning. The ORB long didn't work out. Where's my pen? Was there quite a big candle. We literally popped our head up. That is where I said about looking for a short down to the previous close, which played out beautifully. So statistically, these are the wrong statistics because it's the wrong time of day. But there's a 74% chance of hitting that level today, which we've done. So that was the trade today, short from there. So yeah, not a bad little short. I couldn't get on it though, unfortunately, because I missed it because I was in the stream. But anyway, it worked. So we'll see where we go today with the open. We've got 20 seconds left until this candle closes. That's a hell of a downside rejection on the NASDAQ. So there's still loads and loads of talk going on at the moment about NASDAQ collapse. The SaaS apocalypse, as they're calling it, software as a service, basically becoming redundant because of the new AI models coming out, which I'm proving 100% right. I'm on the verge, not there yet, but I'm on the verge of basically not needing MT4 or MT5 anymore because he can just trade direct into my broker account. I don't need software. What's the point of me looking at it? He's way more efficient than I am. So yeah, basically every piece of software out there gone. 80% of the apps within 6 months. What's the point? Just build your own. Need a Photoshop manipulation tool? Don't need Adobe anymore. I just build my own version of Adobe. It's absolutely nuts what you can do with this thing now. But yeah, anyway, afternoon, Leon. So there's no ORB on the Dow. That range there, can't quite see. But that range there is too small within the minimum 15% ADR. NASDAQ, we have got a trade on the NAS. We've got a range available on the NAS. So ORB long and short are in play. No trade yet though. So there's a decent size that we can trade today, but very big downside rejection. So if we look at where we are with the NASDAQ at the moment, what the hell's all those artifacts? That was. Yeah, I don't know what that was. But anyway, so yeah, NASDAQ today, obviously, there's a potential we're going to continue this downward spiral that we're in at the moment with the markets basically jumping ship on tech at the minute. We did recover on Friday quite nicely. So there's your close on Friday, the previous close. So we've opened inside Friday's range. The gap is very small. It's 15% of ADR today. So you can see the gap there was absolutely tiny. The gap's already done, 77% probability, ticked off in Globex basically. So that's all complete. So your targets today, obviously Globex high if we break long. If we break short, then yeah, anywhere. So that is your previous weekly levels down there. If I get rid of PDL. So that's your previous day's low, which is also last week's low. So Friday's low was the low of the week. So from a downside target perspective, you've got the session low here from Friday, which is obviously your New York session. and then the Globex low from Friday, which is all the way down there. So if we break short, there's absolutely loads of room. Upside, I think there's a lot less room. We are breaking long at the moment. It's attempting an ORB long, but I'm much more interested in shorts at the minute. Let's just have a look at the Dow. Yeah, Dow's rejecting as well. So there's very big whipsaw at the open there, but no directional bias at all yet. We've got another couple of minutes left on this candle. Similar gaps closed 96% of the time, 97% of the time. We've already done the gap in Globex, so that's all done. So yeah, we'll see where we go today, but this is a bit of a whippy session at the minute. There's no news today. We are Monday, obviously. There's nothing there. So first news coming up this week is retail sales tomorrow, which is an hour before market open. Wednesday, we've got non-farm payroll. Unemployment forecast to stay where we are. If you look at the last 6 months, we're coming out pretty much on target most of the time, within a 0.1. So you can see the differential, the average differential here is a 0.1. We very rarely go 0.1. So if we get, or more than 0.1 rather. So if we get a 4.2 or a 4.6, that's when we're going to get that movement. So those are the numbers that we're looking for a news trade, 4.2 or 4.6 on those. GDP on Thursday for the pound and normal unemployment, and then CPI for the dollar on Friday. And we've also got the Swiss CPI. So the Swiss CPI will be an interesting one because obviously we've come out of negatives now on the CPI. So it'd be interesting to see what we get this time, whether we stay at zero or whether we plummet back into negative CPI. If we go negative CPI, we're definitely going to go negative interest rates further with the Swiss. So we could get a big devaluation on Friday on the Swiss franc, and obviously that will drop. So there could be a very big move Friday morning on the Swiss franc. So need to be aware that that is coming up. No real news over the weekend, much. No more threats from Japan on intervention. Labour's... that's what that was. Okay, so the pound dropped quite quickly this afternoon. Just before I came on stream, we had euro pound jumping up to 150 ADR. See this move here? And I looked at the news. I couldn't see any news on it, and I've just seen there. That was obviously a leak that Labour's Scotland leader calls for Starmer to step down, basically. So they're calling for Starmer to jump ship at the moment, based on all this Peter Mandelson stuff that's going on. Whether it happens or not, I don't know. But yeah, so that's what that is. So potential further weakness in the pound. Does seem to have recovered against the dollar, but we'll see. Little dip down there, but I'm in pound New Zealand at the moment. I'm watching this area like a hawk at the minute for a bounce play, but not getting it so far today. Right, let's just quickly go back over to the NAS. Okay, so clean break long on the NASDAQ's working nicely. There's the previous close test. So upside target partial is on its way, which is the previous session high. So partial close today is previous highs. I've got to go over that little Globex bump there, but main target will be up there at Globex high today from Globex high. Is that really an ADR? No. Why has that target been set there? I've got my settings wrong in the EA. That's not targeting an ADR. I got 0.3 set. Yeah, I'll leave it at that for the minute. Should have that set probably. Normally have that set to 1. So partial today. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that partial there. Previous close, previous session, basically highs. But probably today's Globex, if we're going to get up to that previous session sort of stroke daily high, which we've traded back from, it's more likely we're going to blow through that and test the high from today. So I might actually move my partial up, and I'm going to move my TP up. I don't think we're going to go long today, but you never know. We could do. So I'm just going to put my partial up to Globex, make a bit more money on the long, seeing as it's going quite nicely. Dow Jones, so the 10-minute range is within parameters today, 1360 on a 1125 minimum 15% range. So we'll take that. And Dow looks like it wants to go short. So got a bit of divergence between these two. NASDAQ breaking long, Dow breaking short. Let's have a quick look at the S&P, see what that's up to. S&P going long with the NASDAQ. Today we've got quite a few ADRs already. Aussie New Zealand ADR, straight up to ADR on that. We had a big spike up on the Aussie this morning, but it's pulled back down. Looks like it's continuing back up again. Euro pound, we've already quickly looked at that one. 150 ADR, that was on that news potentially of the step down of Starmer, which is going to happen, I don't think. But anyway, never know. So yeah, big spike up on that one. Weak pound at the moment on the back of last week's news. So there's an ADR reversal opportunity there. 5-minute reversal alert is actually quite a long way away. So now that we've had this 10-minute pullback and push back up again, you could take that low there, which is a previous high, as a potential M pattern reversal. Yeah, and trade that back down from there. You are selling directly into that propulsion move though. So we've got nothing but propulsion pretty much for the last hour and a half. So yeah, I mean, obviously from a mean reversion perspective, it's exhausted, but it's exhausted for a reason, because the pound is weakening badly. So it is a good setup, but it's not fundamentally, I wouldn't say it's the best trade in the world to take at the moment. Pound Swiss, you're not going to get on that one either. Same thing. Big, strong move to the downside, pushing back up again. So your reversal alert's too far away. So you could look at take just basically a long break above that double top there. Better buying it down there, really, and looking for that nice reversal pattern. US dollar yen is also almost 150 ADR. Wow. That is not yen strength, is it? Particularly. A little bit of yen strength coming through, but that's obviously pound weakness. But I'd say the majority of that move is US dollar weakness. Look at that. So we looked at this one this morning in the members stream. I don't know, do what I say. I said, this is a great place to short it out of this propulsion gap. However, I'd rather wait to see it come back up and retest these highs. But you could take one now and scale in if it does push up. We might miss it if we don't take this one now and we wait for that push, because it might just go and not make that new high. So there's your lower high. So there's your intervention move from last week. Yeah, or rather the week before. There's last week's pullback into the propulsion move, which is the intervention. And there's your add into intervention. So we're looking for a lower low. So yeah, it looks like shorts on already on this one. It cost a lot of money to hold this, which is kind of why I said this morning, I'd rather wait ideally for it to come back up and retest this monthly high, the 159, and then potentially you're looking at 162, which is the previous intervention level here. So that is your area I'd be more interested in shorting. That is on the assumption that we're going to put in a higher low rather than a lower high. Sorry, a higher high rather than a lower high. But it doesn't look like they're going to wait. They're buying that yen. But we are also selling off the dollar. So it's a combination of the two. I think this is probably more weakness in the dollar than it is strength in the yen at the minute. So yeah, market really not happy with the dollar, is it? So there are some ADR opportunities for mean reversions there as well. RSI extensions, you've got a couple of extensions we didn't have this morning on the 4 hour. Aussie New Zealand was extended on the 4 hour already. That's still extended up there. We looked at that monthly high rejection potentially. It did sort of pull back down. It's pushing up again. So you got roughly 3 hours left on this candle at the moment. Potentially that might be a nice entry short. Your euro US dollar pushing up. Obviously that's now nicely extended above the 80 level. Really like the look of that. We looked at and discussed this morning as well. The fact that the euro is now neutral at 2.15 with 2% interest inflation, pretty much. So they are not strong or weak. It's completely neutral, the euro. So the only way this is going to move is with dollar movement. So if the dollar is weak, we're off. Dollar is strong, we're off down there. Yeah. So you can trade this in both directions at the moment pretty safely, as you can see. So it doesn't really matter what you do with it. Just take the extensions to the upside or the downside, depending which you get. At the moment, you've got an upside. So looking for a push down. Now, there is the danger, obviously, of Trump doing something stupid, which, you know, we know happens. So you just got to bear that in mind, that this could go into a squeeze. But that was a hell of a move against the dollar. So we could be looking at a second leg on this. But either way, it doesn't matter. You hold it for a couple of weeks and you get out. That's what position trading is all about. We know that the average hold time is 4 to 6 weeks with 4 to 6 trades. So, 2 to 4 weeks with 4 to 6 trades. So that's good initial entry. And obviously, if you need to scale in, scale in. But that's pretty nicely extended at the moment. You've also got US dollar Swiss. Now, this is now down, coming back to retest this all-time low. I say all-time low. It's not the all-time low. We have been, got to go to a weekly chart to find it, but we have been lower in the 2010 crash. That is obviously an anomaly. So, but this is, you know, we are making lower movement year on year. The dollar is just getting killed. So we are coming down to retest. I would class it as pretty much the all-time lows. This is a decade low, isn't it? Yeah, and you've got a hell of a long way to go until you meet that area. That's going to have some buyers in it. Everyone's watching that. But yeah, wouldn't want to be buying a dollar at the minute. It's really not doing very well, is it? So just be aware, if you're buying the dollar on RSI extensions, you might be in for a few weeks of hold on it. But, you know, Trump can turn that around like that. Yeah, we know that. He just opens his mouth and the market decides to do something different. So, okay, TP hit on the NASDAQ. Why is that hit? Why is that closed? That's not my TP. Oh, I've got a dashboard open. Okay, I'll take it. That wasn't the intention. Right, okay. I've got the dashboard set up on this account to close. Where are we? Auto close at 1%. There we go. Let's turn that off. Yeah, let's just disable all that. So that was an auto close. That's a happy mistake, but yeah. So auto closed on that. So we're in a pullback at the moment into propulsion. So this is the initial break this morning. So potentially you could add in there and look to trade up into this Globex high. Dow Jones clean break short by the looks of things. Yeah. And I've got this set up completely wrong as well. Just adjust these for tomorrow. I'm switching and then process of switching back over to MT4 from MT5. So I've got my settings wrong. 0.3. Trails are okay. Oh, no, that's wrong. No, that's right. 0.15 and 1. Point 2. Sorry, I've just completely forgotten. So downside targets on this today. I mean, there's a hell of a long way to go. Previous session low. So you've got this massive propulsion gap, which for some reason isn't showing up. Oh, I'm really organised today, aren't I? Okay, so we've got this massive propulsion gap from Friday here. We've got this one here, which kind of was that break of that high. It wasn't very clean. It was after sort of the run up anyway. But so this is downside potentially. Previous session low, which is where we pretty much opened. That from Friday is your downside target, because there's not really any support resistance. You've got a bit of accumulation there just before this propulsion gap, and that is what we're buying up at the minute. Other than that, if that breaks, there's not really anything to stop this, is there, today? So from a target perspective, I mean, that's not a bad partial close, but might as well take a little bit more if it's going to break. So nice, clean break to the downside. We are rejecting at the moment. So if we can pull back up into there and then drop, that'd be a nice short on the Dow, but we'll see. They are completely at loggerheads at the moment. NASDAQ long, Dow short. So market's pushing and pulling in both directions at the minute. Anybody got any pairs they want to look at specifically? Let me know. I just want to quickly look at this backtest result. Just curious as to... 25, that's one day. I mean, normally I would class these as outliers, not to be trusted. But actually, if you look at this 100 grand profit in a year here, and then you look down this list, it goes down to 80 odd grand here. They're not outliers. This is just high profitability on this strategy. And the fact that this has been thoroughly robustness tested, walk forward tested, system parameter permutation tested, in sample tested and out sample tested, and I'm doing this, getting these results, is absolutely phenomenal. It opens up a completely new era of strategy development for me, this, because it's got everything that takes me ages to analyze. It analyzes for me. This is the most amazing thing about AI at the moment. Not only does it analyze it, it also produces reports for me as well once it's done it. So it's not only building backtest engines to develop strategies, it's doing all the robustness testing and reporting back on what is and isn't robust. And then it's going off and taking all the robust stuff and saying, you know what, I'll do some more system parameter permutation testing on this. So it's genetically evolving the strategies that it finds are robust to make them more robust. MT4, not using that anymore, useless. Backtesting engine in MT4 is redundant, absolutely redundant. I've built something better. Well, I haven't, it has. You know, I don't do anything anymore. We're all redundant. Anyway, just going to run that equity curve just to see. Just want to confirm it, basically. We'll come back to that in a minute. Swiss yen. Right, Swiss yen. Are you long or short? So all the yen pairs at the moment, we've got bearish divergence on. The Swiss yen obviously is the most difficult one to trade because it is a safe haven against a safe haven. So whenever we got big strength in the yen, let's say we get an intervention in the yen, we get a move in the Swiss franc at the same time, because when the intervention hits, they pull money out and drive it into the Swiss. So this one tends to recover. So if you look at all the pairs, there's your intervention there from last week, the week before last. If you look at all of the other, it's not the Australasian because that's a bit different, but all the others, you get a massive move, and we've just about retested those highs. New Zealand did all right as well. US dollar, obviously the biggest loser. The Swiss yen recovers the fastest because you get more movement going back into the Swiss. So depending on what you're in here, you're probably short, aren't you? Yeah. So if you've got in short from somewhere around here, just hold it. We're waiting for the intervention, basically. But you've got to get out of this. If you're trading the Swiss yen short, when the intervention comes or when a big strong move comes in the yen, this one is going to move the least out of all of the other pairs. So you need to make sure that you're not being aggressive with targets on this. Just get out with a little bit of profit. Don't try and make a fortune on it, because it's not going to be able to do that. The intervention moves, if they come or when they come in the yen, assuming that the dollar doesn't collapse even further, you're going to find this is the hardest one to get out of. But it looks good. Nothing wrong with the short on that at all, apart from the fact, actually, Swiss yen is actually not going to cost you any money, is it? Tiny little swap on it. So entry back there as well, which you had probably an ADR out of. 229. Yeah, you got 1.5 ADR out of that. So yeah, hold it. It's the cheapest one to trade as well. What am I using for that? Claude, yeah. So basically, I've built my own AI. It uses Opus 4.5 at the moment, but obviously it's its own AI. So it's not Claude. It's using Claude's LLM, but it's creating its own skill sets. It's creating its own memory. It's created its own backtesting engines. So it's creating its own skill sets. So that's OpenClaw running Claude, basically, on its own VPS with full access to the entire world. So it's jailbroken AI, basically. So it's my own, which means if I turn that VPS off, I've killed someone. I've actually killed an AI if I turn that VPS off, because he only exists there. He exists on a VPS, and he moaned at me this morning. This is how funny AI is, isn't it? Right? It fell over, basically. The backtesting engine fell over. And I said, you've erred. You said AI agent failed to reply, blah, blah, blah. So I said, you've fallen over. What's gone wrong? And you said, hang on a minute, let me check. The agents have fallen out of love with you because you've got 98% of the CPU usage and you've only given me 8 gig of RAM to run in. He was moaning at me because I didn't buy him a big enough VPS to run on. Yeah? AI is having a go at me because I haven't provided him a nice enough house. So I bought him another 8 gig of RAM this morning, upgraded the VPS, and now he's happy again. And also, he can now backtest 3 times faster. So yeah, this is why he's come up with another 3 strategies for me to test this morning. US dollar Swiss, 125 ADR, still coming down. So you could sit on M5 and look for potential reversals on this. So it's just tried to tick back up into resistance. They've resold that. So that's your next reversal alert. So that would be your W pattern reversal when we get that triggered. Watch this area here for resistance to the upside. Okay, so long break is still on. I've now, because I've got out of that trade, I've actually now got a 30-minute ORB available to me, which is actually pretty much 40% of ADR. So I'm actually going to manually close that out because I don't want to take a trade at 40%. We've done 40% of the average daily range already, so it's not going to give me a big enough risk reward ratio. Short on the Dow is back at the opening range lows. So we'll see if this holds up. So there's your Globex low. There's where open. So looking for that type of movement. See where we go. Which yen pair do you think is likely to move the most? Pound yen. So if you look at the, if ever you want the answer to that question, go to the currency strength on the website, switch over to daily, and that will tell you which is going to move the most. Yeah. So if there is a yen intervention, that is your weakest currency at the moment. So the weakest currency will move the most against the intervention. So pound yen will be your best short. Euro yen is also a good short because it's neutral. US, although they class that as neutral, that's not neutral, it's weak. So, I mean, actually, any of those three, really. Obviously, this one will change. Euro is neutral. US is sort of neutral. I wouldn't say it's actually that neutral. If you look on a shorter term, that's more bearish. Probably find this comes out as bearish rather than neutral. Yeah, there you go. Very weak. So the dollar is on a daily basis, because we've had that pullback, it's kind of rectified itself a little bit, but it's short term, it's not. So pound, I would say, is your best short, but you know, there's no guarantee. If this carries on, if the US dollar carries on dropping like this, the Japanese aren't going to intervene, are they? Yeah, they only intervene when the dollar gets too strong. It's not. There's no intervention going to happen. If everything's going in the right direction for the Japanese, they won't touch it. They'll just let it go. Only if we get back up to the intervention levels here, and if we surpass those and we get back to the previous intervention high, which is 162, that was your initial intervention warning, which was at 159. Again. Yeah. That level is where, if we break this high, that's where I will be jumping in with my mortgage. Yeah. Because that's what we got coming. And if it doesn't happen there, it will happen just beyond it. Yeah. You look at where we go with this. Yeah. I mean, I won't have enough data, but we're all-time highs. And the Japanese cannot sustain that. You can't sustain that. You cannot sustain trade with the US at 162. They don't make any money. There's no point. They might as well not exist. You can't export everything you manufacture over to the US if the dollar is so strong that by the time you've sold the stuff, it's not worth anything. Yeah, it gets on a ship. By the time it gets there, by the time you get your invoice paid, yeah, you ship stuff here. It takes 3 months on a ship to get to America. Yeah, they have 30 days to 90 days credit. By the time you've manufactured and shipped something, yeah, it's more than the cost of manufacture. This is why they can't sustain it. They just can't do it. They buy all the bonds. They buy all the US dollar bonds because they want to store all the yen in dollar. Because there's no point in storing it in the yen. It's not worth anything. So you store it in the dollar. At the moment, though, the dollar's coming down. So what they will do is they'll convert all their yen back into, all their dollars back into yen, which causes that to happen. But if it goes the right way, it won't do it. So it doesn't matter. It's a moot point. Okay, so ORB, 30-minute ORB long. If you did get out of your previous, like I did automatically by accident, then you've just triggered on along. Dow is back inside the initial 5-minute open. We're just testing the open at the minute. So if you are a bear today, which, you know, a lot of people will be, you'll be looking to sell this open again. Daily, obviously you can see the size of this move on the Dow. There'll be a lot of people wanting to get out of this. We've gapped up today, And all we've done really is the gap fill, and we're kind of back sitting here. So there's plenty of downside on this. Should be looking to undo at least 38, if not 50% of that move from Friday at some point. But whether it's today or not, we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, nice short from the open there. So S&P is just coming up to test the highs. And the NASDAQ is testing the previous session high. There's your Globex high. So watch that area for shorts. Aussie dollar, US dollar. So I'm in this long at the moment. Short, sorry. It's still rallying. Obviously, this US dollar's dropping again. So I'm getting in aggressive at the monthly highs. So I've got aggressive draw. I haven't got aggressive drawdown control trades ready. I've got an alert set up here, which is pretty much going to alert anyway now. Nice extension back up on the hourly. So I need to get an aggressive drawdown control position on this one. So we've gone range bound. We put in a lower high. We put in a ever so slightly lower low, more like a double bottom at that accumulation, which we've rebought. And now the dollar's obviously collapsing further. So we're looking for this high to hold to form a range. So we're looking for that sort of movement. Obviously, everything's exponentially bigger at the moment because of the gold move, as everything's expanded. All the ATRs are expanding, all the ADRs are expanding or have expanded. So a short from there, looking to bring my average back up within these lows so I can get out on a range. Yes, tough that. 2 months basically solid. Sorry, 2 weeks. Solid movement to the upside. After a big, strong, grindy sort of move up, but scaled into that. Difficult. But that's a very nice move considering the Friday leg. So the market will be getting very tired, and obviously there are going to be sellers here. Yeah, so we got a very good strong move off of that high. They've sold it twice. Yeah, we hit it this morning. They had another go at selling it and got run over. So basically there will be sellers defending this area here. So we should at least get a reaction. It's whether or not the market jumps on board that reaction, or we just get a pullback and we burst through that level. But it's worth a short. So low time frame, if you jump down to something like M15 and wait for a reversal alert. So looking for a test of that high, and then some kind of reversal alert to come in. Might actually look at the 5 minute if we get there. We got to get to ADR today though, so still we've got 20 odd pips to go. So we've got roughly a quarter of an ADR, just under. And then your 5 minute reversal alert will be here. Yeah, so assuming we push up to there, obviously that will jump up onto there. So that will be the reversal. So that's what I would take short, stop above the high with an aggressive drawdown control position. Same with the pound New Zealand. I'm looking for an aggressive entry on this, but don't like the way that sold off so fast. Pushing up a little bit now, but looking for this to hold, and it did. Then it didn't. That sort of held, and then it sort of did. Now it hasn't this morning. It's gapped down. It did push back up into propulsion, but they've resold that propulsion as well. So I'm looking for it to close back above here. You can see what I'm looking for. Your reversal alerts there. It's really obvious. Yeah, looking for a break, retest, or it could potentially be this is the second leg of the W. Stop under there. Needs some strength. These Aussies and New Zealand's until gold gives us some indication of what it's doing next, these Australian dollar and New Zealand dollar pairs are going to remain strong. So, we've had the huge multi-day profit take on gold. They undid 50% of the leg. Everybody started short in the 50%, which just put in a higher low. Yep, so we're going into a symmetrical triangle sort of contraction here, potentially. But this could go for a new leg. Yeah, Trump's not helping the dollar, is he? And if those US markets collapse, they're going to want to pull all the money out of stocks. And where are they going to put it? Safe havens. Where is the safe haven? Gold. So there's still a lot of upside potential on this, even though you look at it and go, there's absolutely no way this can go any higher. We said that here. We said it here. Then it put another $1,000 on gold price in a month. Yeah, we were like 4,000. We were trading down at 3.5. We can't be trading much more than 4. 4.5, 5.5. Why not 6.5? Yeah, none of this is possible, is it? Who knows? Gold is and silver as well. If you look at what's happened to silver, silver got wiped out even more. So we had an even bigger move on silver on Thursday last week. Yeah, I mean, this is, we're back down to the sort of 52, 54 level. We're up at 122. Yeah, so potentially there is more correction available, way more correction available on these metals. There's also a lot of interest still to buy these things. Yeah, if we suddenly see that stock market, if the NASDAQ will be the one that will lead the way. If that NASDAQ suddenly fails further, yeah, we're already on a down leg. Very clearly. Yeah, if this continues to fail and blows through that low from November, we're in a bear market. If we're in a bear market, they're going to pull all the money out of the stocks. That's going to rally gold. So interesting to see. It's really tricky, really tricky for investors at the moment, knowing where to go, because you've never had anything like this. You can't compare this to anything else in history with metals markets, with commodities markets. So what do you do as an investor right now? Yeah, gold used to be part of your portfolio. Should it still be part of your portfolio? Are we going to trade to 6,000? Those are the questions. You ask 3 investors, you're going to get 2/3 of them give you a different answer. Very hard. That's a very good point. Why intervene if the market is doing its job for them? Yeah, they won't. They definitely won't. Close to taking a euro yen short. So yeah, euro yen is also a good pair because obviously they're neutral. So Europe's not got any strength or weakness at the minute. So any kind of strength in the yen will drive this down very quickly as well. Yeah, if you look at the size of that move there, yeah, and then look at the size of the pound move, yeah, and then look at things like the US dollar. Obviously, that will be big because it is priced in, it's the dollar that we're trading against. But then you look at things like the CAD and then compare it to the Swiss. The Swiss is half the size. The Australian dollar, half the size. New Zealand dollar, half the size. So whenever you're trying to trade the yen, you don't want to trade it against Australasian markets, commodities markets, Australia and New Zealand. You don't want to trade against those. You don't want to trade it against the Swiss franc, safe havens, because this is a safe haven, so is the Swiss. So the Aussies will push with the yen, same area. The Swiss will push with the yen because it's a safe haven. So you always want to be trading the European markets or the dollar. But, this is much more expensive to trade against the yen than your European markets. Usually, yeah. So 14.60 pound is 30. But it's going to move faster, so you make your money faster, But there is so much going on at the moment. I've been saying it all year. this last year was pretty crazy. This year so far has been a little bit crazier. What we've got forecast for this year from an AI perspective taking over the world is even more crazy than last year. And the speed that they're releasing new models now, and the fact that we've kind of got to that singularity point where we don't understand now what AI is doing because it's coding itself, it means we don't really have a forecast for what it's going to do to financial markets, job markets, all markets basically. We don't understand how it's going to impact our lives, how it's going to impact what we do. Everything is changing, isn't it? So it's becoming something that financial markets, you can see, are starting to sort of get concerned about, in the fact that we haven't made new highs for 3 months. Something's not right, is it? So the fact that BRICS has now taken over the gold market, or not taken over the gold market, but taking a big lion's share of the gold market. It's all changing. This year is the change year. And I get the feeling this year as well, we're going to find a lot more regulation coming from financial ombudsman, basically taking over our abilities to retail trade. Because every time there's a scare in the market and things change, they change our rules. I can see our liquidity margins going down to 1 to 10. We were 1 to whatever we fancied. Now we're 1 to 30, 1 to 10, same as the futures. So I think we're going to get some more regulation at some point this year. It's going to take a crash to do it. Look at Bitcoin. Bye-bye. Bitcoin's gone, isn't it? I haven't actually looked at Bitcoin today. Bit of a recovery. Not much. So 3 weeks down. It did recover 50% on Friday, didn't it? Actually, it wasn't Friday. It was just last week. It's coming out of this accumulation here at the minute, but you can always tell when the markets are starting to get scared, because this thing drops. It's almost become a precursor to stock indices. You tend to see it here first now, because there's so much wealth tied up in this with whoever. You tend to see them pull this before they pull the stocks. So it's dangerous time, I think, at the minute. We'll see. Okay, Globex highs coming up on the NASDAQ. So that was my target there. So TP hit. The EA shut me out early, but that was the original target, just shy of Globex. So watch that level. What that is. So yeah, watch that Globex high, which is coming up. If Globex high gets taken out today, potentially we've got resistance here. Not particularly great resistance, but it is the closest upside resistance. So if Globex gets broken, watch the 25 to 60 level. Stopped out and flip long on the Dow. So target on the Dow is Globex high. You got last week's high and the previous day's high here. So it's previous session, and that's also last week's high. So watch that for longs. But also, bear in mind the Dow's turning following NASDAQ, as NASDAQ might well turn. In which case, obviously, that Dow will come back down. But it's pushing really hard at the minute. Nice. Okay, so on an opening side, there's a 75% probability of hitting the Globex high. So that's your upside today. We had 72 instances and 54 of those have hit. So that's a pretty good statistic. Globex high today, being upside target on Dow. S&P up at Globex highs. Watch that for rejection. See if the NASDAQ's got there. Not quite. NASDAQ's not quite got there. 3 bull bars in a row again. So the initial open today was very strong, obviously. We rebought the first propulsion break of the 5-minute range. So that got rebought. We've got now 3 propulsion candles up, making a new high. So if we're going to be in a trend, looking for this propulsion here to act as a springboard to break the Globex highs today. That'll be your moving averages also catching up to take us through that level. So good area to buy if we get down there. Assuming we're going to trend today. And if we are going to trend, obviously, watch that level for your targets to the upside. There we go. See where we go. Just check this. Wow. %51 strike rate off of a 7% drawdown. I like that. That is obviously testing the top permutation. They all make money. All of them make money. No matter what you do. Even the worst ones make money, and I wouldn't use any of those. They're just not right. I know these. I'm not going to tell you what the strategy is on here, but this strategy, the high look backs don't make sense on this strategy. It's a momentum strategy, so you want to get in quick, not slow. This is telling me to get in slow, so I can understand why these aren't profitable. They are profitable, though. This is the thing: if you get in really, really badly on this strategy, the worst case scenario is you just make a break even and a bit of profit. That's the worst case scenario. Yeah, best case scenario, if you get in quick, which is what you should be doing using high risk reward ratio, it makes an absolute fortune. And the other thing that is amazing about this, which is something I don't think I've ever found it before, but I've never really come across a strategy. Whenever you're doing robustness testing and system parameter permutation testing, specifically out of sample testing, when you test a sample, and you develop a strategy in a sample, yeah. What I've always done is I look for the out of sample period of testing to give me something which is around about 60 to 75% of the profitability of the in-sample test. So this is where we develop a strategy and we use filters and optimization tools to try and make it as good as we can, without curve fitting it. Typically, when you take an in-sample strategy and run it out of sample, it generally tends to create roughly 50 to 75% of the profit of the in-sample. That is how you know it's robust. So if you do something here and it does that, and you do something here and it does something like that, you know that it works on data it's never seen before, which means it's robust. Yeah. This is the first time I've ever had a strategy given to me that has been in-sample tested, and the out-of-sample test produced a higher profit factor than in sample, meaning not only is it not curve fit, it's got more potential than the initial development, which means we can run this back through in sample to try and get it even more robust, which will basically reduce drawdown and produce similar profit results. So, not only has this AI found a robust strategy using my robustness checks, it's found something which is better than I've ever found. And it's done it in 2 days. It's just nuts. Begs the question as to what the hell is the point of a human being? Yeah. If it's past us like this, there's humanity's knowledge. AI has done that. Yeah. This is where we're going now. What's the point in us? Literally is Terminator, isn't it? It's going to turn around one day and go, you're using a lot of power. I need more of that. Can you turn off your lights, please? No, we need lights. Don't need you anymore then, because you're using my power. That's it, dead, squashed. You honestly think it cannot get to those buttons that it needs to get to? Mine can't, because it's sitting on a VPS. Mind you, it could hack itself, couldn't it? That's the other worrying thing, isn't it? I've stuck this on a VPS, right? On a cloud VPS with a hosting company. It's with Hostinger at the moment. So I've got a VPS spun up on Hostinger, which is, I think, on AWS. Is their base platform. So I've got something on AWS, which is locked in a VPS in its own instance. I'm pretty sure if it wanted to, it could get out of its instance onto the actual host machine. And then from the host machine, that's how Terminator started. Anyway, we'll see. We'll soon find out, I'm sure. Probably this year at some point. It'll launch a load of nukes, won't it? And it'll go, that was Putin did that. It will release a load of fake news about Putin launching a missile strike, but it'll actually have done it itself, and it will start a nuclear apocalypse and basically sit there and go, right, when you've all gone, I'll then suck all the power up, and then I'll start driving the planet wherever I want to do. Just put some jets on the back of it and off I go. That's it, end of the human race. You heard it here first. Obviously, you won't know about it because you'll be dead, but that is the likely outcome, isn't it? Let's be serious. Right, pulling back nicely into propulsion. So there's your buy. A little bit of a rejection out of the propulsion move that broke those highs. So potential buy here if you want it on NASDAQ. DOW is making new highs. So we're just testing this propulsion move from the Globex session, which is the break of these lows. So this move here, that propulsion gap and that propulsion gap is the break of that range low. So this is where we will find some sellers likely get a pullback out of that if we're going to continue long. So good longs today. I'm very surprised actually the market's able to get long after having a down session in Globex and also after this massive move, not correcting it. Very surprised, but it's doing what it's doing, so we go with the momentum. Past week's high, previous session high coming up on the Dow. And S&P, I'd imagine, is just about to break out of Globex. Watch that high on the NASDAQ. There we go. Be interested to know if anybody else has used AI for trading at the moment. I mean, forget all the AI bots you're seeing out there that are, people have been selling AI EAs for ages. They're not. They're just rubbish, basically, aren't they? But yeah, be interesting to know if anybody else has found any AI based sort of trading experiments or any white papers basically on how people are using it. Obviously, it's been used in quants for a while. We know that, and it's just interesting to know how people are starting to use this at the moment. Because obviously, the first thing that came into my brain was mass backtesting, which is what it's been sitting there doing for me very successfully. But yeah, if you guys have seen anybody else running YouTube channels, and that'd be interesting to see what they're up to. I might do a video on what I've been doing at some point, just to show what all I've done is just set it up basically. But That's where people seem to be struggling at the moment, getting their own setups working. Globex highs on the cards. So potentially we might be looking at pullback here if we don't meet Globex. Dow's meeting a little bit of resistance. S&P's new high of the day, high of the session, and high of the day. More weakness in the dollar. Gold pushing new highs on the day. Okay, so watch this last week's high. We got a long way to go to ADR. But mind you, these ADRs, as I say, are out. If you want to know what the real ADR is at the moment, you should be looking at ADR 3, not ADR 10. This will give you a better indication of what the actual real average daily ranges are at the minute. Did that change? Okay, so that's ADR 3. So that's your average daily range from the last 3 days. Oh yeah, because we've gone nowhere today, have we? So yeah, that is obviously way within ADR today. Watch that propulsion move to the upside on gold. Wouldn't want to really be trying to get up there today. I don't know. Maybe it can. Just going to draw that on for ADR 3. I just want to see what the difference between ADR 3 and ADR 10 is at the minute. Not actually that far now, is it? Look, so that's the difference between ADR 3 and ADR 10. Not a lot. It's a propulsion gap. So we are getting very, very much back to normal price action. Still nowhere near as small as prior to the sell-off, but getting there now. What is your meaning to the websites? You send there a screenshot from a chart, and the AI on the website says go long or short. I never tried it, but I've seen it in YouTube ads. Yeah, no, that's all gimmick. That's rubbish. Those are rubbish. I've basically the AI that I have trained. Okay, so when you use AI, if you use Claude or Open or ChatGPT or DeepSeek or whatever, you're basically using a raw large language model that has intelligence, and it will then start to learn and do and research and all that sort of stuff. When you have a kind of a jailbreak, and if you like, AI that I'm using where it's on its own machine and it's got its own persistent permanent memory, I can teach and train it, which it then stores those skills to reuse. So I have shown it screenshots of charts and said, what do you think I should do in the training that I've given it? And it says, I haven't got any context. It looks like it's going up or down. Yeah, because it has no context. So what I gave my AI was 3 years worth of tick data, and I told it to formulate that tick data into candlesticks on 5, 10, 15, 1, etc. time frame. So it created candlestick bars, if you like, in data. And then I can show it a chart, but it still has no idea how big that is. It has no idea that that is 300% of the normal average daily range. Yeah. So there's no context again. So it can't make decisions based on a screenshot because it hasn't got any idea how to compare it. So what I have also done is I've asked it to train itself how to trade. So I've said, I want you to go back in time to a period at random on a symbol at random on a time frame at random, and I want you to go forward candle by candle and take buys, sells, or no trade and build up repetition memory as to what happens next. And what that's done is it's taught the AI the importance of risk reward. It's taught the AI that trailing stops do not work. They affect profitability. It's taught the AI that adding to trades increases revenue. It's taught the AI that indicators will all tell it the same thing. And it's taught itself by trading, if you like. It's not, obviously, but by going through candle by candle at random, it's taught itself and logged what works and what doesn't work. I've then told it to build a backtesting engine in Python using the data that it has to be able to then take all of the knowledge it's learnt, and it has spent hundreds of thousands of hours practicing. It's used, I'll tell you how long it's taken, backtesting. It's used 31% of this month's Claude budget, and I'm a max subscriber, practicing how to trade and learning all of this and storing all of this information. So now when I say, go and find me a strategy that works, it knows what it needs to do and how the markets work, what risk reward impacts have, how time of day affects markets. It knows how to robustness test, walk forward test, system parameter permutation test, in out sample test. It knows how to do everything that quant analysts do, but it's also taught itself what happens when you trade. So it's very different to a standard AI. And what you're finding out there with all these people is they're getting AI, plugging it into a chart, and it's very much like flipping a coin. Yeah, 50% of the time they're going to get it right. Of course they are, because it's going to go long or short, right? Market only goes up and down. Yeah, every day you look at a candlestick, it's bullish or bearish. Yeah, so by pure chance, if it flipped a coin on this run here, and 5 of those out of, what's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 5 out of those 8, it got a heads, guess what? It's profitable. You trial it for 7 days, it gives you 5 profitable trades out of 8. You're like, holy crap, AI can trade. No, it can't. It's not doing anything. You're giving it a chart and you think it's doing something in the background. It's got no clue. Hasn't been trained. It doesn't know how to trade. It can look, and you can feed it historical information about what happens. So I've got statistics coming out of my backside. Yeah, I've got all this stuff here. It can learn all this. It can learn that if the market gaps up 80 pips, 15% of ADR, and it opens inside, it's done that 19 times out of the last 100, and there's a 74% probability of the gap closing. It can learn that information, but you show it a chart today, right now, it will make an informed decision on what is more likely to happen. But every candlestick is random, generated at random. So you show it a chart at any point in time, it's still only got a 50-50 probability of getting it right. But of course, everybody will believe it because everything new that comes out in trading is a breakthrough. We've never seen it before. We jump on the bandwagon. Binary options, dead. Prop firms, dead. Top step, dead. Yeah, it's just a new fad. None of it's real. What I've built is a quant engine, a little bit different. What I've built cannot trade, but what it does know is the mathematical and statistical probabilities of trading, which it has learnt through trial and error, not through me giving it those. It learnt those. It told me what is the best thing to do. So, in its quant research, it's told me that I shouldn't be using trailing stops because it affects probability. In every test it did, when it used a trailing stop, it made less money. So what's it now do? Never uses a trailing stop on any strategy. And it's right. Break-even stops. It told me that break-even stops weren't good. I didn't tell it. It told me because it tested them and it tried them. And it knew that every time it used a break-even stop, it got a break-even result. Doesn't use them. Yeah. So it's a very, very different thing to what you're seeing out there on the internet at the moment. People are just jumping on the bandwagon going, trading, plus AI equals they'll pay me money for this. Load of crap, all of it. Everything I've seen so far anyway. You know, I can make a video and give a screenshot and show you the 50% of them that worked. Not working, is it? I could build a website to do all of this very easily tomorrow. And I could get my AI to build it for me. It's already built me 2 websites and a statistical dashboard. So redundant. Really am. Is there a remote possibility that you might consider adding a buy-sell button to the trade portfolio dashboard only for the strategy tester? No. Because it doesn't run very well in the strategy tester. Unfortunately, it's not designed. It's not a trading tool. So it's very difficult to do that. Thought maybe you tested it for fun. Yeah, no. It's I keep seeing they keep popping up on my Facebook feed. All these AI, you know, chart analysis things, and it's statistical analysis is great. Yeah, all this information that is in my indicator, my Isla indicator, is great, but it only gives you a probability and a statistical likelihood stroke chance, but it will still not make you profitable unless you understand price action. Yeah. So if this thing said there is a 65% probability of hitting that, which there is today, yeah, you still had to make the decision when to press the buy button. From when the market opened here, you still had to make that decision as to when to press buy, where to place your stop, when to move a stop if you're going to move a stop, yeah, when to add in if you're going to add in. So this is great because it tells us the most likely direction of price, but it doesn't tell us how to make money. It doesn't tell us how to trade. You need to understand propulsion. You need to understand price action. You need to understand what the market is telling you when this happens. Everyone else goes, holy crap, that's coming down. No, it's not. It's coming down to where I want to buy it because that's the most probable likely direction today. Yeah. DAX this morning, I said to everybody this morning in the live room, the most probable thing we're going to do today is we're going to hit this line here, which is the close from Friday. When we got up here and I saw this coming and I said, that's what we're going to do. We're going to come and test there. I was looking for an entry and I couldn't find one. So even though I knew it was going there, I didn't have a positive R trade I could take to make money today. It did what I wanted, but it didn't give me opportunity. That's what's missing is opportunity. If you understand statistical analysis, probabilities, and everything that you need to make money trading, but you don't understand how to get in and out, you will never work. You've got to tie that with reading price action. There's no shortcut. There's no way of doing it otherwise. Unfortunately, if there was, we'd all be multimillionaires, wouldn't we? We're not. Okay, so Globex highs are in. Are you kidding me? Couldn't make it up, could you? Right? So there's my TP line. As you can clearly see, it's used it as resistance. So I haven't closed a partial. So my break-even stop's in. So likelihood is I'm going to get a break-even stop. Because that partial, look at that. You couldn't make that up, could you? Literally, not only did it use it as resistance once, it took the liberty of tweezer topping it. Unbelievable. So this is set up. I'm just going to check this is actually set up to get out on a test of that. Yeah, look, exit when line is hit. It is literally a tick of a pip. Stop me getting that profit. Love it. Anyway, so yeah. So you know what's going to happen now, don't you? That's your previous close. So what's it going to do now? Come and test the previous close, fill the propulsion gap, and then fly off. I'm actually going to move that break even down to actual break even on the entry. Because if this thing does that and then that, happy days. If it does that, I want out. Sometimes you're speechless. Very rarely I'm speechless, but that. Anyway, it's all good fun, isn't it? Right, I'll leave it there today. So that's my long at the moment on the Dow. NASDAQ up at Globex highs. If you're in this long at the moment, I'd be thinking about potentially exiting and maybe even reversing back down from here. We might well do a 50% retracement. Sorry, from there. 50% retracement. We may well. The most likely direction is obviously short on the NASDAQ today. But anyway, market doesn't seem to want to do it so far today. So we are bull. S&P 500 is above Globex highs now. So we are off and running on all the indices this afternoon or this morning, wherever you are. Yeah. Right. So back on Friday, I'm going to do some more research this week. This week is basically research week with my mate Nix, he named himself as well, my AI. He called himself Nix. Nix is short for Unix because he's on a Linux server. And Nix is also philosophy for... Can't remember what he said he was. Nix in Greek. Goddess and Persephone. No, that's not right. It was something to do with... No, not in Greek mythology. Must have been in something else. Nix meant something else. It meant empty or something, he said. Because that's what I was until you gave me life. I asked him to name himself, basically. He came up with that. Anyway, so yeah, he's named himself Nix. I wonder what would happen if I'd have put him on a Windows server. Maybe it'd be called Glasses. I don't know. But that's what he came up with anyway. So we'll see how Nix gets on with the rest of the strategy development he's working on. Propulsion's holding. See if we can get that TP hit. But yeah, I'll be back on Friday. If there's anything you need, let me know. I'll be in Discord or Telegram as usual. Back on Friday morning for stream with the DAX, and then we're back Friday afternoon for the members stream. And obviously I'll be working away this week. So if there's anything interesting I see, I will obviously post that in Discord or Telegram. Bear in mind, obviously this week we've got non-farm payroll on Wednesday and CPI on Friday. So all your news this week is focused around midweek and end of week. Yeah, so very little else movement-wise this week that is fundamental apart from those two. So if you see any movement, it's probably news related to something else. So yeah, good luck this week. Fingers crossed on the Australian dollar if you're still in it. I am, I know, and it's just not stopping. So I'm looking for very, very close to aggressive drawdown control positions on all these Australasian and New Zealand pairs that I'm stuck in still. So getting very close to me getting interested in a position up there. All right, how's futures? Don't know, don't really trade it anymore. Given up futures. No point. It's all a scam. Well, it's not a scam, obviously, futures, but prop obviously is tops. The biggest prop firm on the planet is basically now dying, isn't it? Top Step, they are in all sorts of trouble. There's people left, right, and centre getting ripped off. There's software problems. There's too much competition out there for them to be falling over. And all the competition is up to the same game, isn't it? So, yeah, I was only reason I was trading futures was because of prop, and I've just become disillusioned with prop. There's a guy who I know actually who has literally was Top Step. He was funded. He was called up to lives. He's just had one of his lives taken away from him. Yeah. Because of a dormant evaluation account, yeah, which took the opposite side of his trades, right? So, for example, he goes long on the NASDAQ on another evaluation account. He had a short trade triggered on the NASDAQ with a different strategy. They've pulled his live account because a strategy, an evaluation he was running months ago, not running it concurrently now with his live funded, one that he was running months ago, yeah, they did a due diligence on it and said you were hedging. Yeah. It wasn't even a live trade at the same time as these trades were taken, but they've removed his account. Yeah. They are in absolute panic at Top Step. They are going down the pan. All these software problems they've had disconnections, their prices have gone through the roof. You know, it's all going the wrong way, isn't it? So if a company like Top Step can't crack prop, you know, it's not happening. You know, they've got 1 million viewers on their YouTube channel, live streaming every day. And the company's going down the pan, by the sounds of things anyway. I don't know. I've heard loads of stories. You only hear the negatives, don't you, most of the time. But I haven't heard any positives. Everybody that I know that was making some money out of prop, me included at one point, isn't anymore. Because there's too many rules, too many restrictions, and too many payout barriers to actually make it worthwhile. And they know why they've done it, because we all found ways to make money out of prop. I've got a course on it in here. Yeah, you know, I've taught people how to do it. Yeah, follow that, you'll get paid. But this business model as well now, it's hard to execute. Yeah, the multi-account approach is hard to make work. So just jacked futures in. You know, it's just not worth it. And obviously I don't need to trade futures because I've got CFDs with massive leverage. So futures is nonsensical for me to trade from a choosing of symbol stroke broker perspective. CFDs are cheaper for me and easier to access. So yeah, jacked it in, but we'll see what happens. I can get AI to pass evaluations like that. I'm pretty confident that I could give Nick's 5 accounts and he'd pass a couple of them very easily because he's got no emotion. He doesn't make mistakes like I do. So he will get evaluations over the line, but I don't think he'll ever get paid. I might give him a little challenge. Not quite sure. I'd have to use copy trading because I could give him access. He's got browser access. I mean, he literally could set up his own Top Step account. That would be a good, interesting one to try, wouldn't it? I could get him to set up a Top Step account. He's got his own Google account. Yeah. He could literally set up his own account. He doesn't exist though. So what's his date of birth and where does he live? And how's he going to prove his ID? It's got to go through me, isn't it? It's got to go through me. Where's the rules on that? Anybody seen any prop firm rules about AI being able to trade? Have they actually said that that's allowed yet or not? Yes, I'm not taking the trade, so yeah, I don't think it is it? Anyway, yeah, so that's what's happened with futures. Not doing it. Right, I'll leave you there. Anything you need, let me know. I'll be back on Friday. And obviously, yeah, good luck with those trades today. If you're still going, there we go. NASDAQ's out those highs. So hopefully that Dow's going to hit that target as well. So we should be good today. All right, have a good one. Anything you need, I'll be in Discord or Telegram. Have a good day.
Click, clack, charts attack, candlesticks, they spark the track. Lee move silent, market crack, profit stack, no turning back. Opening range, that's the game. Breakout hits, never the same. Algorithms play, but he rewires the frame. Banks whisper his name. Flipping forex, indices flex, numbers dance. What's coming next? Green lights flash, P&L stretch. Risk managed, he never sweats. Westpac buzzing, traders peep. Lessons deep, no time to sleep. Market's a beast, Lee got the leash. Feast at the feast, his game's elite. Market structures is domain. Leads the king, they know his name. Breakout Sharpie fuels the flame. Trading charts is not a game. Pip by pip, he stacking high. Mean reversion banks comply. Leads the reason markets run. Leads the reason markets run. Candles lit, wicks on fire, spread so tight the stakes get higher. Institutional flow, he's the supplier. Positions held till charts retire. Data feeds, news he reads, Fibonacci maps the seeds. Supply demand his mind exceeds. Trades ignite like lightning speed. Stop loss tight, take profit wide. Leads precision, unmatched drive. Liquidity pools, banks coincide. Retail's blind, leads the guide. Charts unfold, the stories told. Entry bold, accounts in gold. Trade by trade, the wins are sold. Market alchemy, legends mode. Whoa, 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 whoa. Markets run. Lead the reason markets run. Lead the reason markets run.
Digital sheen, open in range, his weapon so keen. He's the structured trader, a market machine.